Welcome to our flipped classroom, Doing It Differently, Tips for Teaching Vocabulary. This slide gives you the code to enter the TOT classroom in case you don't have it. The code is UMB5QQ. As always, we like to tie everything to our promise to purpose. In this particular session, we will be looking at our equity. We will be closing the gaps by personalizing the learning by knowing every student by name, strength, and need. At the beginning of your session, we encourage you to go over the content and language objective quarterly with your participants. The content objective, the participants will extend their knowledge and vocabulary utilizing best strategies for learners. The language objective, the participants will discuss and provide examples of vocabulary strategies. As always, make sure to engage your audience by using the turn and talk strategy and having them complete the following sentence stem. I will show evidence of mastery of the objectives by. In this short clip, you will be able to see what our ELLs experience in our classrooms when we are not giving them the appropriate scaffolding in order for them to receive the instruction needed. Please make sure that you collaborate with your teachers and have them talk about what they can do differently in order to accommodate the needs of our ELLs. As always, we'd like to tie it back to our objectives that we've previously reviewed. Vocabulary and objectives can be easily intertwined with each other. In this particular video, you will see how this teacher quarterly reads the objectives and then breaks down those vocabulary words that might be tricky for our students to understand. This right here is an activity that you are more than welcome to use with your staff if you have enough time. You can click on the link and it'll give you all the instructions that you need.
Selecting the vocabulary to teach. Here we have our tiered vocabulary. Your Tier 1 words are your basic words that commonly appear in spoken language. Because these words are heard frequently in numerous contexts and with nonverbal communication, Tier 1 words rarely require explicit instruction. Tier 2 words, however, present challenges to students when they are met in print. Examples of Tier 2 words are obvious, complex, establish, and verify. These words do need to be explicitly taught. Our Tier 3 words are frequently used in specific content areas or domains. Those are usually the bold words that you will find in your textbook. Here is another screen explaining our tiered vocabulary. Vocabulary words should be carefully selected based on the following criteria, and you can read this slide at your convenience. Also, we need for you to pause and answer the following question. Why is it important to pre-select Tier 2 and 3 words for your lesson? Provide an example from your content area. Also, you want to give your staff time to practice selecting vocabulary. Here you will have your guided practice. And here are examples of your Tier 2 and 3 words in a passage. The Tier 2 words are in red and your Tier 3 words are in blue. You will want to do an activity similar to this with your staff. Here you will have your activity, and there is also a graphic organizer tied to this activity. You can practice this and do this with your staff. Of course, you want to give your staff time to practice it on their own. So when you're explicitly teaching vocabulary, here is a sample lesson that tells you the steps of intentionally teaching vocabulary. Here we have two videos, one for elementary and the other for secondary, and you will see the teachers explicitly teaching vocabulary in their lesson.
So here are the three strategies that we have chosen from the Guiding Coalition: sentence stems, word walls, and the Freire model. Sentence stems. Why should we choose sentence stems? They provide a framework for writing and speaking. They encourage the use of complete sentences. They scaffold the use of academic vocabulary, prompts the use of transitional words, model appropriate sentence mechanics, motivate reluctant students to participate, and are easily woven into your language objectives. Steps to creating sentence stems. Make sure that you're analyzing your students' language acquisition level, TELPAS. Decide which vocabulary words you want to target. Write sentence stems that give them the opportunity to show understanding and the use of desired vocabulary. Plan when the students are going to utilize sentence stems. Also, there's a link that you can go to, and they will provide you with an abundance of sentence stems that you can utilize in each of your content areas. Here's a video that you can go ahead and watch. Using your sentence stems. Write them in a visible spot in the room. Read them with your students. Give them examples of how they might be used. Encourage the use of sentence stems in your writing and your speaking. Here you can see an example of differentiated sentence stems for your beginners, intermediates, advanced, and advanced high. Please go ahead and provide an example of a differentiated sentence stem from your content area in this graphic organizer. The next high-yield strategy are word walls. Okay, these are some examples of different types of word walls. Please click on the link to view some examples. Why should you choose word walls? Of course, they are an anchor for your long-term memory. Develop a print-rich environment. They facilitate word analysis. They promote cooperative group learning, and the list goes on. Using your word walls. In order to develop deep understandings of words, students need to see, hear, and use new terms in many contexts. Incorporate into your daily instruction. Plan time to write with the words. Use review activities to practice so the words become automatic for students, and model how to use the word wall. Okay, you can see different types of word walls here. This is an example of a rubric, what a good word wall looks like, a better word wall, and the best. Of course, when you see the best word walls, they should have the academic vocabulary posted. Words are aligned with the current instruction. Words are visible from distance. Words are arranged to illustrate relationships and organized learning. Wall contains student-generated material, and visual support are color pictures, photographs, or actual items. Please provide an example of a differentiated sentence stem from your content area. Okay, why should you use the Freire model? The Freire model is a strategy that uses graphic organizers for vocabulary building. This technique requires students to define their target vocabulary word, concept, and apply this information by generating examples and non-examples. This information is placed on a chart that is divided into 4 sections to provide a visual representation for the students. This strategy is an instructional strategy that promotes critical thinking and helps students to identify and understand unfamiliar vocabulary. The Freire model can be used with the entire class, small group, or individual student. The Freire model draws on the student's prior knowledge to build connections among new concepts and creates a visual reference by which students learn to compare attributes and examples. Some more examples. Okay, Freire models can also be differentiated according to the proficiency level of your student. Choose a word from an upcoming lesson. List and complete the 4 components of the Freire model.